Rain fell sideways on Port Celestis, the only place in the galaxy where it could be sunny above the docking bridges but storming down in the industrial tiers below. Neon lights rippled across the wet pavement as if trying to climb out of it, forming blurry rivers of pink, blue, and amber that spiraled toward the gutters. The crowds flowed like tides: humans, Xyrans, Hydraki, Volants. Species that once warred now shared walkways, airlocks, and overpriced food carts. Andrew Carver stood among them, adjusting the collar of his weatherproof jacket. At 42, he was a single father with the strong, kind eyes of a man who had spent years learning patience the hard way. His son, Milo, 14, stood beside him with a datapad in hand, tapping at the holomap of the station. They weren't here for leisure. They were here because Andrew had given his word. And when Andrew Carver gave his word, he kept it. Beginning 1. The promise. 2 weeks earlier, Andrew had taken in a quiet, trembling alien girl named Lunara. She was a Varellan, a delicate species with crystalline skin patterns that shimmered softly with emotional undertones. Varellans heard not with ears but through vibrational receptors, thin translucent membranes along their necks and wrists. Lunara had been born without those receptors. To her people, she was soundless, incapable of perceiving the vibrational language that defined Varellan culture. To some, she was defective. To others, she was invisible. To Andrew and Milo, she was family. She had been living with them for only a month, rescued after being abandoned in the central markets by the caretaker meant to watch her. Varellan royalty had distanced themselves from their disabled child. Whispers said she was an embarrassment to them, though no official statement had ever been made. Rumors and reality blurred often in Port Celestis. Lunara communicated using a combination of human-style hand signs and glowing symbols displayed on a small holoband she wore. Milo had taken it upon himself to learn her full sign system within days, proudly exceeding Andrew's ability. Tonight she stood behind Andrew, clasping her hands nervously, the faint glow under her skin pulsing a soft pastel blue fear. Milo nudged her gently. "She's going to like you," he signed. Lunara signed back with stiff, reluctant movements. "I don't think so." Andrew took a breath. "It's just a date, kiddo. Talking. Maybe dessert. If you don't want to stay, I'll come get you immediately. You're not trapped." Her shoulders relaxed a little. Milo added, "Besides, the girl's nice. I talked to her brother. She really wanted to meet you." The girl in question, Tarila, a young Xyran, was kind-hearted, expressive, and curious about other species. Her brother had met Milo during one of their robotics classes. When he heard about Lunara, he suggested a friendship, which Tarila had quickly escalated to a blind date. Lunara had never been on one. The concept both thrilled and terrified her. Andrew placed a hand on her shoulder. "You deserve people who see you." She gave him a tiny smile, barely there but full of fragile hope. 2. The arrival at Cygnus Cafe. The Cygnus Cafe perched on a transparent platform above an artificial pond reflecting thousands of servolights like fallen stars. Inside, the walls shifted color depending on the mood of the room, glowing a warm amber this evening, calm, inviting. Tarila arrived early. A tall, feathery Xyran with amber plumes and expressive silver eyes, she greeted Lunara with an enthusiastic wave. But something changed the moment she realized Lunara wasn't responding verbally. Her expression fell. Subtly at first, then blatantly. And Andrew, watching from a distance outside the cafe windows, felt his stomach clench. Lunara reached into her satchel, taking out her holoband, ready to introduce herself with glowing text. Tarila blinked, leaned back, and her feathers stiffened. Andrew knew what that meant. Discomfort, rejection, judgment. Then Tarila said something sharp, dismissive, before standing up from the table. Lunara froze. Her crystals flickered violently, pulsing in a rapid, unstable pattern Andrew had only seen once before, when she cried silently after he first brought her home. Tarila turned and walked out. Lunara didn't move. Not for several seconds. Not until her holoband flickered weakly with the hesitant words, "Did I do something wrong?" Andrew's jaw tightened. Milo sucked in a breath. "Dad." "I know." They ran inside. 3. The fracture. Lunara refused to turn when Andrew approached. Her skin dimmed to a cold slate color, the Varellan sign of internal collapse. He kneeled beside her. Lunara, look at me. She didn't. He gently touched her hand. Slowly, painfully, she looked up. Tears slid down her cheeks like refracted light, scattering tiny rainbows. Her hollow band flickered. She didn't want a date with someone broken. Andrew inhaled sharply. No, absolutely not. You are not broken. Milo shook his head vigorously. Tarila's an idiot if that's how she thinks. That's her problem, not yours. But Lunara's color didn't warm. Her sign language became frantic, messy. I can't speak. I can't hear. I can't even understand my own people. Why would anyone? Why would any girl? Her hands stopped. Her hollow band finished for her. Want someone like me? Andrew swallowed hard. He wanted to find Tarila and give her a lesson on compassion. But that wasn't what Lunara needed. She needed truth. Real human truth. Lunara, he said softly, look at my life for a moment. She blinked, confused. I lost my wife. I raised Milo alone. Half the time I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I could offer anyone. Some people looked at me and saw a man who failed. A man whose life wasn't neat or complete. He cupped her hand gently. And then I met you. Her crystal glow paused like a heartbeat skipping. You've made our home brighter. You've made us laugh. You're brilliant and kind and stronger than anyone I know. If someone can't see that, that's their loss. Not yours. Lunara's breath hitched. Her wrist crystals flickered into a soft lavender. Hesitant hope. But before Andrew could say more, a shout echoed across the cafe. Tarila's brother sprinted inside, feathers flaring in panic. Where's my sister? Did she say something stupid again? Andrew stood slowly. Oh, she said something all right. The brother groaned. Don't tell me she did that thing where she gets weird about disabilities. Milo pointed angrily at the exit. She stormed off the moment she realized Lunara was deaf. The brother dragged a hand down his face. Stars, save me. I'm so sorry. She's socially defective. Lunara blinked. The brother kneeled to her level. Please don't think her reaction reflects what the rest of us feel. You are fascinating, rare, and frankly way cooler than my sister deserves. Lunara made a small, surprised sound, almost like a soft crystalline chime, something she did unconsciously when flustered. Her glow softened, but Andrew still saw the fracture inside her. A break invisible to everyone else but glaringly obvious to him. He had to do something. Middle 4. The return home. The walk back to their small habitat pod was quiet. Lunara didn't sign. She didn't glow. She simply walked like a hollow shell. Inside the pod, Milo retreated to his room mumbling, I'll let you talk to her alone, while Andrew prepared tea. The spice kind Lunara liked. She couldn't smell it, but she loved the warmth against her palms. She sat on the couch, curled small. He didn't speak right away. He simply placed the warm cup in her hands. Finally, she signed a single question. Why wasn't I enough? Andrew exhaled slowly. You were too much. She frowned. Too kind. Too real. Too genuine. Someone like Tarila wasn't ready for a person like you. Lunara's glow flickered uncertainly. Then she signed. Maybe she's right. My own people never wanted me. That sentence hit Andrew like a punch. He sat beside her. Lunara, you're not going to like what I'm about to say. But I need you to hear it or see it. She looked up, bracing. You were never rejected because of your disability. You were rejected because people misunderstand you, and because they're too afraid to learn who you are. She stared at him, unable to respond. He continued. You communicate differently. You experience the world differently. But you still feel everything. And you still deserve connection. Her throat constricted, and she signed slowly. Then why doesn't anyone want to date someone like me? Andrew rubbed his hands together. Well, maybe because they haven't seen the right parts of you yet. She tilted her head. The parts that make you shine. The parts that make you unique. The parts that make you you. He tapped her hollow band. Tomorrow I'm taking you somewhere. She blinked nervously. Where? You'll see. 5. The pulse chamber. The next morning, he guided Lunara through the lifting platforms of Port Celestis until they reached the upper tiers, areas she rarely visited. They arrived at a large structure shaped like a crystalline lotus. Above the door, the pulse chamber, Varellin Cultural Station. Lunara froze. Her glow dimmed. She shook her head wildly. Andrew placed both hands on her shoulders. Hey, you're safe. I'm with you. She trembled. He continued gently. This place teaches Varellin history and communication. But guess what? They recently opened a special program for Varellins who can't perceive vibrational language. She gasped. Milo, who had rejoined them, added with a grin. Dad found it last night while you were sleeping. It's brand new. They adapt the vibrations into light patterns. Lunara's crystals glowed with a tiny spark of gold surprise. Hope. Inside the chamber, Varellin caretakers welcomed her warmly. They showed her how vibration-based phrases translated into shimmering patterns projected into the air. Lunara tried the tech. The moment she saw the lights form clear, elegant strokes, her species' traditional language, her entire body glowed. Not dimly, not nervously, but brilliantly. She signed rapidly. I can speak Varellin. Andrew smiled. You always could. You just needed the right tools. A caretaker approached. We would like to invite her for weekly sessions. She learns fast. Lunara's glow flickered excitedly. For the first time since the disastrous date, she looked like herself again. But the day wasn't over. Andrew had one more surprise. 6. The new connection. After the session, Andrew guided Lunara to the observation deck overlooking incoming starships. There, waiting awkwardly near the rail, was a young alien boy, roughly Lunara's age, wearing a sleek holoband similar to hers. He was a Sovari, a species known for their luminous skin and melodic voices. But this boy's voice was silent. His throat bore the scars of an old injury. He saw Lunara and smiled shyly. Andrew whispered. His name is Etris. He communicates visually too. The pulse chamber connected us with his family. Lunara's crystals flashed a startled pink. Is this another date? Andrew laughed softly. No. This is a friend. Someone who understands what it's like to be different. Etris raised his hollow band. Hello. Lunara raised hers. Hello. They stared at each other for a long tentative moment. Then slowly they began signing, hesitant, stumbling, but full of genuine curiosity. Andrew stepped back, giving them space. Milo nudged him. That was nice, Dad. Andrew shrugged modestly. She deserves to know she's not alone. From the corner of his eye, he saw Lunara and Etris laughing, silent but joyful. And Andrew felt something settle warmly in his chest. But life had one more twist waiting. A twist with royal implications. Ending. 7. The Queen arrives. 3 days later, Andrew received a message that made his stomach drop. A royal Varellin transport ship was docking at Port Celestis. Lunara's mother, the Varellin queen herself, was aboard. And she demanded to see her daughter. Lunara froze when Andrew told her. Her colors washed out completely. Milo whispered. Dad, is this good or bad? Andrew didn't answer. He didn't know. 8. The confrontation. They met the queen in a private reception hall adorned with glimmering silver vines and shifting light panels. The queen was breathtaking, tall, regal, with skin that glowed like polished quartz. Her attendants shimmered in synchronized patterns around her. When she saw Lunara, her glow rippled in shock, followed by something harder to read. Something painful. Lunara shrank behind Andrew. The queen approached slowly, then spoke in Varellin vibrational tones. Tones Lunara couldn't perceive. Andrew raised a hand sharply. She can't understand you. The queen stiffened. One of her advisors whispered nervously. Your Majesty, perhaps adapt to. She cut them off. Instead, she switched to spoken standard. Awkwardly, uncomfortably. I came because news reached me that my daughter had resurfaced. Lunara's holoband flickered. Why now? The queen winced. I believed she would have a harder life with me. My duties require constant travel. I feared I couldn't give her the care she needed. Andrew stepped forward. With respect, Your Majesty, she needed love, not protection from inconvenience. The queen's glow dimmed, a sign of shame. I was wrong, she whispered. Lunara signed sharply. Why am I hearing this only now? The queen looked at her daughter's trembling hands. then at the holoband projecting her words. "I've been a coward," the queen admitted. "I let fear decide for me, not love." Lunara froze. No one breathed. For the first time the queen kneeled before her daughter. "My child, I want to know you, even if you don't forgive me, even if you choose to walk away." Lunara's crystals fluctuated wildly. Fear, anger, longing, confusion. Then slowly she raised her hollow band. "I don't want a queen." The queen flinched. Lunara continued. "I want a mother." The queen choked on a breath. Then she pulled Lunara into an embrace, gentle, tentative. Lunara stiffened at first, then melted into it. Her glow turned a soft, warm gold. Andrew felt his eyes sting. Milo sniffed beside him. 9. A new future. The queen spent the next hour speaking with Lunara. Through holoband translators, sign language interpreters, and patient gestures. Not perfectly, not gracefully, but sincerely. Finally she turned to Andrew. "You have cared for her, protected her, loved her in ways I failed to. I owe you a debt I cannot repay." Andrew shook his head. "You don't owe me anything. She deserved someone who would show up. That's all." The queen nodded gratefully. "Still, I ask your permission to be part of her life. With your guidance." Lunara touched Andrew's wrist, her silent request. "What do you want?" Andrew smiled softly. "I want you to choose." After a long pause, Lunara signed. "I want both families." The queen's glow brightened. Andrew nodded. "Then both families it is." 10. The final scene. A week later, Lunara stood on the same observation deck where she first met Etris. This time she wasn't trembling. Her crystals glowed bright and steady. Etris signed something that made her laugh silently, and she responded with playful gestures. Andrew watched them from the railing, arms folded, a small smile tugging at his lips. Milo leaned beside him. "She's doing better." "She is. You really changed her life." Andrew shook his head. "She changed mine first." Below them, the docking bay lights flared as the Varellan royal transport prepared to depart. The queen would return soon, but for now she honored Lunara's choice to split her time between two worlds. Lunara turned toward Andrew and signed. "Remember when I asked why anyone would want someone like me?" He nodded. Her glow brightened confidently as she signed. "I don't wonder that anymore." Andrew's breath hitched, because for the first time, she truly believed it.